This is In the Know for Friday, March 7th, the 66th day of 2025. There are 299 days left in the year. Good morning, MP, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Going to be a big weekend in sports. Also, time is going to change. We got that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. He is the five-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the two-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm tired. How about you?
But it's got to be a happy tired.
Yeah. I mean, it's tired though, to some extent.
But you're a young man. You've got endurance. You're going to be able to power through the weekend.
With a couple more trips to the world famous Sports Center.
Listen, I don't. There aren't many of these that these don't come along very often.
They don't.
So
they don't.
You gotta lean into it and enjoy it. Savor the moment while you can. Your weekend is going to be at least 1 hour shorter than it historically would be. Are you okay with the time change? You okay with
no,
forward?
Because now that I'm having to work on Saturday, which is fine because it's obviously for a good reason, and maybe you have to work on Sunday, I might not get much of a weekend. I'm getting maybe 1 hour less of the weekend. I don't want that.
Yeah, that's true. Brady's going to be with us this weekend, and so we were kind of calculating his bedtime. That normally he goes to bed pretty early in the evening, but he's up pretty early in the morning. I said, well, if he sleeps the same number of hours, he's getting up an hour later on Saturday than he would, and on Sunday, actually, because the time doesn't change until the overnight hours, I guess 2 a.m. on Sunday. But you'll be rewarded with more sunset, longer for the daylight hours next week.
Yeah. Do you have your spoiling shirt ready?
My spoiling shirt?
Because to spoil him up? Because I'd assume that you'll be spoiling all weekend, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, all my shirts are spoiling shirts, so there's no problem. He's we're looking forward to it. It's going to be the longest duration that we've been on duty. So we're going to be by Monday showtime. We're going to be tired. So tired's coming for us too. You're getting your tired this weekend.
We'll all be tired. We'll all be tired.
Yes, but it will be, as I mentioned, I think it will be a good tired. So don't forget to change your clocks overnight on Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's going to take you a little while. Small 1 hour shift can affect your sleep cycle for about a week. So, but by this time next week, you'll be all lined up, ready to go. It does sometimes increase anxiety and depression. They're also associated with more traffic accidents, absenteeism, tardiness. So just kind of take it in stride and be prepared for the clock to change. I saw Senator Tommy Tuberville, on the Senate floor yesterday, begging with his fellow senators that this be the last time we change the clock. That's a bigger movement in Alabama, I think, than it is in Kentucky. And I think part of that is because if you look at the shapes of the states, when you can go from Pikeville to Paducah, that is an entire width of one time zone in itself. So just when, like this last week with where I've been for the last few days, even the time of day when daylight arrives is weird because of being in the Eastern time zone. Even in a community like Lexington, and that's kind of in the general western portions of the Eastern time zone, the time that it gets daylight as compared to the time that people normally go to work in your typical workday is odd compared to what you're accustomed to in the Central time zone, where we're on the far eastern edge of the Central time zone. So I think where you live in the time zone probably also has some impact on whether you're highly motivated to get rid of the time change or just or keep doing it like we've always done it. I always like to remind that I believe that if we ever went to not changing it, when we said, okay, we're not doing this foolishness anymore, the clock's going to be the clock, I think we would regret it in a few years. I think we'd go, now that I've had it the other way, I think I prefer it where we change it twice a year. So just make sure you get to your microwave. We have a stove in the garage that wasn't changed. Well, actually, I think because of a power outage, I noticed it yesterday. It's like that clock's not right, but we're down to like just one or so that has to be set. So don't forget to set your VCR, Sam. The timer on your VCR is very important.
I've got my one clock right here.
You got it taken care of.
You gotta get ready for it.
Cloudy but warmer today. We're going to see rain chances returning overnight. For the next 12 hours, we're going to see mostly cloudy with highs in the 50s. I think actually here between the lakes, we're going to get to 61 this afternoon. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, some night rain, 58 today. That's what the official temperature is regionally. Again, I looked at the zip code forecast, and I think we'll get above 60 today. Showers, some thunder overnight tonight, and even some snowflakes because of the way that the atmospheric change, the precipitation is formed high in the elevation, and some of those flakes can make it to the ground, even though the overnight low is just 38. Kind of like the weird precipitation that we had earlier this week. Is that rain? Is that snow? Is that sleet? What is it? It's hard to tell. Then morning clouds tomorrow, afternoon sun, a high of 52. All in all, not a bad day. And then look ahead to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday of next week. We are going to be in the 70s, not just the 70s, but the mid-70s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week. So we'll get an early tease of spring next week as we get into conference championship week in SEC, ACC. A lot of the conference tournaments are going on. I have been in D.C. since Monday night. So I have bookended the show this week. I did Monday's show, and I'm doing today's show. I should also point out Beej is at Read Across America today. She's in Clarkson reading a Dr. Seuss. No, she is reading a Dr. Seuss story, but that's not the story that she's there to read today. So schools are celebrating that. I was in Washington, and historically, which I am this time of year when it's around, this was not the State of the Union. It was the address to the joint session of Congress, because the president's term has only, just begun. He's not really in a position to give the State of the Union, although he did spend a lot of time talking about the other guy that had the office before him. You saw the reason that I mention it, even though it goes back to Tuesday, is that Al Green, who was removed from the chamber on Tuesday night by the Sergeant at Arms at the instruction of Speaker Johnson, he was censured yesterday in a mostly party line vote, 224 to 198. 10 Democrats actually voted for it as well, and no Republicans voted against it. What is a little bit odd. You'll say, just kind of depending upon your perspective, you say, well, they shouldn't do that. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, shouldn't also act out during the State of the Union. Civility and decorum has gone by the wayside, and I think we're worse off for it. My first meeting on Wednesday morning after the speech was with Congressman Comer, who was that day having they were doing that hearing on the sanctuary city mayors. It was a long hearing, so he was preparing for that. But I kind of got his fresh take from the speech on Tuesday night. And in his hearing, one of his hearings last week, he had to have the Sergeant at Arms remove or threaten to remove one of his committee members. And he said he predicted at that time, you're going to see more of this. Al Green was on MSNBC being interviewed before the president's speech was over on Wednesday night. So a lot of this is just grandstanding in trying to get an audience. But his initial comment was, you have no mandate to cancel Medicaid, which, as far as I'm aware, is not in the offing. But he's an 11-term congressman, so he's been around Washington a long time, knows how things work. Some headlines, by the way, thanks to you and Christy and everyone for covering for me while I was gone, so I could kind of do the business of our industry and represent Kentucky well in Washington, D.C. Headlines close to home here. A wood-burning stove that rolled over caused a fire that destroyed a Grayson County residence. Caneyville and Litchfield fire departments, EMS, emergency management, responded to the blaze last night about 7. In the 3900 block of Hopewell Road, at the scene, firefighters found a mobile home fully engulfed in flames. They contained the blaze to only the mobile home, protecting some nearby structures. The fire began when a round homemade wood-burning stove rolled over. The mobile home's occupant further told Fire Chief Brian Ferris that someone had been working on the stove's flue and forgot to place the wedges back at the base of the stove. And so it rolled over. The contents of that stove spilled out and caught fire to the residents. So they were on scene until about 8:30 last night. Some of the biggest news yesterday, for those of us who have been aware of you can go back to, I guess, 2018, maybe 2017, maybe even before that, when we knew that the next sector of the Thomason Byway that will connect 259 South back around to 54 on the west side of Litchfield was likely. We have kind of been waiting, okay, when is that going to happen? And you've seen some movement in the area, and then you didn't see any movement for a while. They went through and negotiated with property owners in there. They had some public hearings to determine the best route possible through the area. So the route has been known for a while, but now we've been waiting to say, okay, well, when is this going to happen? I know it's been frustrating for our legislators as well, just saying, okay, this has been approved, it's in the plan, let's get busy. So on January the 29th, that project was let to Scotty's for $22.7 million, and it will allow better access from 259 South instead of commercial traffic having to go up to West White Oak Street and go out 62. It'll be able to go across the byway, connect with both 62 Beaver Dam Road and on over to Highway 54 as well. So roughly it will make a 3/4 of a circle around Litchfield, and it will make a big difference. You know, that there's just so much congestion there in that area in front of Southgate Mall and the West White Oak Street, and school traffic that time of day. It just turns into a parade trying to get to Grayson County High School and back. We'll get a roundabout where the new section of the byway will intersect with 62 on the west side of Litchfield. We are also going to get a new roundabout replacing the big intersection at the byway and 62 on the other side. These are not, I don't believe, going to be small roundabouts. I think they're going to be the larger ones because they'll carry higher volumes of traffic to meet the capacity that is demanded by this area. They are also, the byway is going to go under the railroad track in that section as you go off across from the quarry and head over toward is that the old Beaver Dam Road that's through there? I think maybe it's that cuts through.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, so if you go by the old convenience store on 54, there's a road that cuts and goes almost exactly straight toward Future Designs and toward Quarry Road. And I think they're rebuilding that road because the way that you get to Future Designs, the way that you get to the extension service is going to change. It's going to come from a connector off of the byway, and the railroad closure, the railroad will close there at the Quarry Road across from McDonald Road, is my understanding. So it's going to completely change the complexion of that area. If you're going on 62 toward Litchfield, you'll be able to see the extension service, the extension office to your left, but you'll have to go on up to the roundabout and then work your way back. At least that's my understanding of the way that it was originally. The drawing on that yesterday didn't entirely indicate that, but I think that was the
luckily,
plan originally.
you might have a connection or two at both the transportation cabinet and the extension office.
Got a little bit of an insiders there. It's going to impact that area significantly. It's going to allow for more development as well, because the area that will be approaching toward Future Designs in that area, Litchfield Exterminating is back there as well. So it's going to be just going to change the dynamics of the area. There's not going to be any immediate impact because there's enough infrastructure work to do between those areas that you won't. Primarily what you've been seeing the last few days is the final utility relocation. You've noticed that the utility poles have gotten further from 62, and they're finishing that up and rerunning some cable to prepare the significant work. So you know what a dip that is coming off Rock Crusher Hill. That whole area is going to get built up. There's going to be less of a dip through there And the roundabout will be, you notice it much higher than the road surface hits right now. So it's not only going to function differently through there, but it's going to look considerably different as well. Some headlines just to scan for you that you can read more about at K105.com. A Morgantown woman has been charged with a fatal overdose, and a Morgantown man is being sought. The Russellville Police Department arrested 25-year-old Madison Westmoreland earlier this week on an indictment warrant charging her with second-degree manslaughter in an overdose death from June of last year. A body that was found next to a burned vehicle in Taylor County is that of an Oldham County teen. They've been able to make that identification. Some things going on in the before we get to the legislature, the Nelson County Sheriff and a Chief Deputy have been accused of illegally selling seized cars. They're facing some charges like abuse of public trust, theft by deception, forgery, etc. Not sure presently who's in charge of the law enforcement agency in Nelson County. That community has obviously had their fair share of controversy and drama, and it seems like this is yet another chapter of that. Governor Beshear yesterday in his press conference praised the Kentucky State Police for their crackdown on child predators, said they have arrested 309 online child predators over a recent period of time, so that's good news. Separate pieces of legislation that would examine Kentucky's process for restoring voting rights to individuals with felony convictions by establishing a restoration of voting rights task force was approved by the House and Senate committees yesterday. So you'll be hearing Governor Beshear, as soon as he, through executive order, he restored the rights of nonviolent felons, voting rights of nonviolent felons. And this is kind of taking that another step of allowing a pathway through a group of people who will look and evaluate the restoration of voting rights based upon certain criteria and with a little bit of ambiguity and judgment involved by the task force. We started the show primarily talking about what an exciting week it has been in Owensboro for the Cougar and Lady Cougar programs. Sam, I would imagine if you go back to, say, October the 15th, you would have been hard-pressed to find anyone willing to stake a large sum of money on the notion that both the Cougar boys and Cougar girls would both be in the semifinals of the third region tournament. Fair assessment?
The boys have had this expectation. You know, Travis Johnston mentioned it to us on Friday, you know, and pretty much said after the game, the long story of this is fun, but this isn't our goal. Right. You know, we've got higher expectations and so on. And I mean, the girls had the great win on Monday, beating Ohio County in double overtime to advance to tonight's game. But I mean, last night was, I don't know what amount you were able to take in, but what a game.
I didn't watch very much because I'm required to pay for it, and so I didn't.
You don't want to pay for your own content?
Well, it's kind of wondered. I was like, if I could pay for it, but I have to give $5 of my own dollars to the region. So I'm like, well, why would I want to do that? But I know a lot of people did.
Yeah, we haven't gotten numbers or so on, but it seemed like a lot of people were doing it. And just as a reminder, if you ever have issues with that, like tonight, K105.com/region, refresh your page. That's what we've seen a lot of people, and that seems to fix it. That's the best way to do it. And that doesn't mean you watch it on YouTube. You just watch it on the website. But, I mean, Cougars jumped out to a big lead in that third quarter and, you know, up to about 19 points. And we knew Catholic was going to make the comeback. And they brought it all the way to within one. And the Cougars had just enough to pull away 70-64 in the closing seconds. Some fireworks late as well between a member of the Owensboro Catholic coaching staff and the Grayson County coaching staff that was 1,000% on Owensboro Catholic. And luckily, Grayson County is advancing on to Saturday evening.
So they've already beaten the home team on their floor.
Nope. Can't say that. Can't say that. But wait,
it was weird to see them wearing their. It was weird to see Catholic wearing their road uniforms on their home floor.
But what was interesting is that for one, you know, we pull up to the world famous Sports Center and the Catholic logo is on the outside of the building, and then their logo happens to be on the floor. And then it was also interesting, you know, with about a minute and a half until the game, I look up to their video boards and there's a Catholic hype video playing. Interesting. I waited very long for anything Grayson County centric, or if we were contacted like, hey, do you all have nope, nothing to that. It's interesting how that works, isn't it?
So set the scene. We've got girls tonight.
Girls tonight against Owensboro Catholic. That'll be that's a tall task for the Lady Cougars. I mean,
Sure,
Catholic
yeah.
is a really, really, really good basketball team, and so the Lady Cougars have a tall task. But hey, you roll it out there, and that's why you play the game. And the Lady Cougars aren't going there to lose; they're going there to try and shock the world. So that'll be at 6:00 tonight. So we get the early game tonight. So our coverage, I can actually say, will begin at 5:40 because we're not having the mesh coverage or however you want to describe it. And then on Saturday, so tomorrow, the Cougar boys will return to the Sports Center in the region semifinals against Meade County. That'll be back to the late game, so it's 7:45 p.m. So our coverage begins at, well, whenever I can get set up enough. I want to give a shout out to our friends up at Meade County. They've done a really good job. We've shared the table the last two games. I've filled in for them, and he's done a fantastic job of giving me just a little sliver of the table to allow me to set some stuff up to help with that. So thanks to him.
Well, and, one of the things that as we get out of the segment here, you mentioned, Travis said that on Friday night said this was fun, but this wasn't the goal. They had their sights set on a regional championship, but basketball is random. And weird things happen, especially with, people that are 15, 16, 17 years of age. I mean, you would have thought that Rex Chapman was easily going to the regional tournament in his senior year and got suddenly upset by Owensboro. And there have been other upsets where teams thought, oh yeah, there's no problem. We're going to we're going to the regional tournament, and they get upset in the first round of the district tournament. So things happen. But the Cougars were able to take care of business last night, so hopefully get a win tonight, win tomorrow night, and hopefully talking about district championship matchups.
If the girls do win tonight, they play Sunday too, just to mention.
Sunday. So I said, you're going to get a couple of games this week. You could get 5 games this week at the Sports Center. So just have to sleep in the locker room down there. We got to get to a break. We'll come back, got more on the way here on In the Know.
At Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield, Dr. Priyank Chauhan provides compassionate care for adults and seniors. Board certified in internal and geriatric medicine, he's dedicated to managing chronic conditions, preserving independence, and enhancing the quality of life. Proudly serving Grayson County because your health matters. Schedule today. Call Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield at 270-259-8888.
Today, successful small businesses are lean, portable, and focused. If you're running your own business, you need to stay in tune to your customers, vendors, and employees. That doesn't leave much time for processing payroll and reporting, much less the overall performance of your business. The firm of Buckles, Travis, and Hart has a full offering of services for small businesses. Payroll processing, tax liability, unemployment, and financial reporting, just to name a few. Think of them like a built-in business manager, but they don't get sick and they don't ask for time off. Call or contact today to help get your business focused across the board. Buckles, Travis, and Hart, 270-259-5604, GraysonCPAs.com.
Every child deserves to feel safe, heard, and loved. Right now, there are children in our community facing tough times, and they need someone to stand by their side. That someone could be you.
My name is Misty, and I'm the 4-H Extension Agent from LaRue County, and I'm a proud CASA volunteer.
My name is Debbie Childress, and I'm the Executive Director of the Grayson County Alliance, and I'm a proud CASA volunteer.
My name is Kitty Smith. I'm a proud CASA volunteer from Meade County. You can be a CASA too.
It only takes a few hours a month to make a lasting impact. Your voice can help a child find hope and stability during the most difficult moments. Visit CASAHeartland.org or call us today to learn more. Help us build brighter futures, one child at a time.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start March 17th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
YouTube is debuting a less expensive tier of its premium subscription service. Matt Mattinson explains.
The company announced the new premium light tier on Wednesday. It'll cost $8 per month compared to $14 per month for the original premium tier. YouTube says the new light option will allow subscribers to watch most videos without ads. Light subscribers will see the most ads while watching music and YouTube Shorts content.
Meta joins other social media platforms in criticizing Australia for exempting YouTube from that country's social media ban for children under 16. Reuters reports that Meta officials are arguing YouTube uses the same algorithm-driven content recommendations and social features as other platforms use, which potentially exposes young users to similar risks. And Elon Musk's attempt to stop OpenAI from transitioning to a fully for-profit company is being blocked by a judge. U.S. District Court Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers says she's willing to hold a trial over claims that OpenAI's plan for going public is unlawful. Tech Report, I'm Mark Mayfield.
Today is Friday Fish Fry Day.
Ooh, that is true.
First Friday of Lent, so it's fish fries all over.
I'm a little disappointed if I can't get that today.
Hey, maybe the Owensboro Cath girls team tonight, maybe they'll be so full on fish they won't be able to play. Won't be able to get up that long floor that they're used to running that no one else is. Wait,
No,
did I
no,
say that?
hey, don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. It's not an advantage for them. Also, or the fact that they can, I mean, they have such a long trip to get there, too.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, it's, I think, oh, wait, no, they just have to walk across the street. Sorry.
I bet tonight, Sam, they'll have posters of Jack's dunk all over the arena.
Did you like that?
Tonight, that I was surprised it wasn't on SportsCenter, actually.
We tried.
Well, probably if SportsCenter could get to it without paying $7.99, they might have grabbed it more easily.
I mean, we sent it to our, we posted it on the Twitter. And I will say, too, if you want to go back and watch the game, it's on our YouTube channel. We've uploaded it now.
Are we allowed to do that? We're allowed to do that?
What are they going to do to us?
Is Rob Bromley on the call?
Yes. What are they going to do to us?
Middle name Pride Day. What were there any fisticuffs between the media and the administrative staff of anyone? I had heard that. No?
Between the media?
You said that someone said, "What about if I just tell them to kick rocks?" So.
Oh. Okay. No. No. It didn't.
Transpire.
That didn't end up. No. I mean, we are the only ones, other than another group that are still broadcasting. So, because a lot of them said kick rocks in the realm of
we're not doing it.
We're not doing it out of spite. And listen, I'm glad that there are a lot that have done that, because hopefully that will have them change this rule next year.
Not to mention that also, though, that if you have everyone doing it, then it's just stupid to do. I would be for limiting the number of people that can do it, but for those of you who might have heard my comment last segment, you asked how much I was able to watch. Of the $7.99 that you're paying, $5 of that is going straight back to. Is it going to the school or is it going to the region?
So from what I understand is that the region takes it and then divvy it up. Mm-hmm. So it's like the SEC TV money,
right?
And the Sports Center though does not get any of that money.
My early figures, by the way, indicate that our cut may be just enough to cover the rights fee that we had to pay the KHSAA in order for the privilege of covering the game,
or the credit card fees, and those are the reasons why we said it's not something that we're making money on, or the amount that we make is such a minuscule amount that we'd much rather just throw it up. Because last night I mean, I looked on our stream, and our stream numbers were insane as people who were just watching the audio version, and that's where I was really just saying, heck, I wish we were doing video because I'm sure it would be even better. I mean, we were doing video, obviously, but I wish we were doing it for everyone to watch.
Yeah, I guess to be clear, the point that I think we're trying to make is we are not keeping, in the end, we are not keeping any of that $7.99. You know, the biggest cut of it goes immediately back to the region, but then credit card fees, we had to pay a rights fee to the KHSAA. It's just, and as you mentioned, the credit card fees, et cetera. So it's just basically like a normal game for us in the end.
But at the same time, it's not, because we lose a lot of viewership that we would have gotten without it.
Gained a lot of listeners.
We did, which is a different audience, which is good.
Middle Name Pride Day today. Tomorrow is Genealogy Day. Tomorrow is Proofreading Day. Oh, and I did want to point out, because that's what, I mean, I don't even have a free link to watch. You know, I mean, I own the company. If I want to watch our coverage, I got to give them $5. So, Fanny Pack Day is tomorrow. And really, that's probably the way that it should be. But you would think we'd be in a position to be like, oh, well, I mean, we can watch it because we're.
I sent you a message that I think there's a way that you can.
But that's like getting really inside into the inner workings of it, and
it doesn't sound like you're that interested.
Well, I know it might be. I've been impressed with the people who have figured out a way to get it on their big screen.
Oh, really? I haven't.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Through I haven't seen any of that yet.
Ingenious way of doing that. Sunday is daylight saving time. It begins. Meatball Day is Sunday, and Sunday is Amerigo Vespucci Day. I wonder, you know, so we get the boys' final would be Monday?
Tuesday.
Is that the championship? Tuesday.
Yeah, the boys' final would be on Tuesday at 7:00. The girls' final would be on Saturday, would be on Sunday at 3. So that would be if the girls can pull off the upset tonight. So, I mean, but Tuesday at 7. And listen, you got to give a shout out to the Grayson County crowd. It was awesome last night. There were a ton. I mean, there were more Grayson County fans there than there were Owensboro Catholic fans, which is awesome.
Huh, even though they just had to walk from their neighborhood, which is nearby?
Wild how it works that way. Wild how it works that way.
Funny tweets this week from women. I don't know, this one got credited to a person. Said the easiest way to find out if a movie is on Netflix is to simply ask yourself, do I want to see it? And if you do, it's not on Netflix. There are sometimes when I think of a movie to watch. After Gene Hackman's passing, I was like, I need to watch. I'm going to watch Crimson Tide. I want to watch. It was so hard to find stuff that you would think would be readily available. Because I said so, said I am one pocket caught on a door handle away from a complete meltdown. It can get you. Tracy Bro said, I kind of relate to this. Square dancing in elementary school really had me expecting more hoedowns as an adult. True. We had an entire unit on square dancing. Well, ours was in middle school. It was not in elementary school.
Ours was elementary school.
But you got kind of the impression then, it's like, you need to know how to Alaman left to the corner. I mean, you got to have your do-si-do on lockdown. You better know what you're doing. And it's really not ever come up again since, until right now when I'm having this conversation. Zentra says, my phone just filmed a 2-hour documentary about life inside my pocket.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Baldan Dowd said, I would do anything to cure my digestive issues except stop drinking coffee or change my dietary habits in any way. And Megan said, may you have the confidence of the driver who arrives last at a 4-way stop and just decides to go for it. You do find that person that doesn't know the rules. They just think, well, I guess nobody's going. I'm just going out there.
The YOLO.
Yeah, but then you also do have the people that get there and they go, I'm not sure what to do next. Well, it's first in, first out, or in the event of a tie, the person on the right. But what if it's a complete 4-way tie of all 4 ways? Everybody's on the right.
Then somebody just needs to be the one to step up and go.
That person is me, by the way. This is the time of year
that surprises me a lot.
Lead from the front. I saw that you posted, or someone on our team posted a story about the prep for softball season.
That was me.
So the basketball season is being elongated at least just by a few days longer than sometimes. What did you say last night? The boys hadn't won a region game in 10 years?
11.
11 years?
Since 2014. Yeah, that was only the second region game that they had won since they won the region in 2009. I think that's right.
So, but this means that typically you will start your spring sports preparation. Some of them been prepping since January the 15th when conditioning can start, or sometimes it's right after you come back from Christmas break. But then you got parents who are starting travel ball and little league, and you'll have soccer as a spring sport. And if you got multiple kids who play different sports and you're shuttling them around, I noticed the Nutty Professor last weekend, like they were in multiple different states, with their kids on.
Yeah, I saw some photography from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
has he been able to figure it out and put the games on his big screen or no?
I don't know. I heard from him earlier in the week after the question from Monday night, but I think he got the impression that I was out of pocket and really wasn't plugged into what's going on. So I don't know, but I have a feeling FOMO sets in tomorrow night. So that's my guess.
Yes.
But here are the, if you're the parent of kids, then you're trying to shuttle them around. There are certain rules, and these might be a tad bit tongue-in-cheek, but if you are the parent of kids involved in sports, you will think that they are rules of the universe, apparently. Rule number one is about the shoes. It says, make sure you hide your cleats in the hardest location to find, but then don't tell anybody you can't find them until we're walking out the door.
Yep.
We couldn't have thought of this 5 minutes earlier. It's not as if we didn't know all day we were going to the game at a certain time, but we got to go looking for the cleats. Rule number 2 is about water bottles. You're not allowed to come home with a water bottle. You leave it at any field we're at. I would like to know how many water bottles parents go through on the average season. Say if you've got a 12-game season, you think they end up buying 12 water bottles? Can't quite seem to get home with it. Rule number 3, the stink. Says unless you can roll those car windows way down, none of us want that. There's nothing worse than a closed-up car with the smell of stinky feet after the game, or frankly, in my family, even a dance rehearsal or competition. The rule is, as long as you're done playing said sport, immediately once we've gotten in the car, take all of your shoes off. Because when in doubt, air it out.
Yeah.
There are those that, I know those parents that basically they're outside the car and like strip down, put everything in this mesh bag, and it's going in the trunk because we can't stand to smell you.
Yeah.
Number
it's
4,
that stank.
The laundry, and it's cumulative too because stuff never really gets completely clean, especially when you're playing like every day, and it never recovers. Number 3, the laundry. Make sure you take off your uniform off, your socks, all of it. I want it to be in a ball so that I have to separate everything. Oh, yeah. Just throw it in a pile. Showering. Says, this is the most important one. After the game, when we ask you to take a shower, you immediately reply with, why? I didn't sweat. That's not the important part. I would imagine there are lots of parents with lots of rules that
stank.
Yeah. Bless those parents. My parents did it. We didn't have very far to go, luckily, but 3 kids playing sports. They were playing sports themselves. We were at the ballpark like 6 nights a week, or 5 nights a week anyway, it seemed like. So
you need to bring this list back up next Wednesday when Whitney's on.
Absolutely. Well, she'll be in tears probably, or her blood pressure will be too high as a result. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got today's Did You Know? The weekend movie premieres coming up. You're on In the Know.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think. Stargardt disease was supposed to define me.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. A blinding eye disease attempted to force me away from doing what I was born to do.
But it cannot stop me. I have the tools.
I will keep moving forward.
Pushing past the limits of this disability.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Great vision doesn't require great sight. Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Make your impact today. Donate now at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Hi, this is Leanne Womack. I fell in love with country music as a child listening to my dad spin records at a radio station. I always dreamed of hearing my own songs on the radio. I set a goal and achieved it. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Never let anyone tell you it's impossible. So if you have the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, SOHD.info.
Twin Lakes weather.
A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon may even go into a completely blue sky for a few hours before clouds move back in this evening. And that's when a rain chance will kick in later on tonight, especially along and north of I-64. Highs this afternoon well into the 50s tonight, dropping down into the 30s. And a quiet weekend with highs in the 50s to lower 60s by Sunday. From the Wave Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Brian Good.
Don't miss the hottest songs in the country on American Top 40 this weekend. We'll hear from Rosé about her debut solo album, and The Weeknd speeds up the chart with a track from his brand new project. Don't miss the run from 40 to 1 this weekend, American Top 40.
Did you know Mulan has the highest kill count of any Disney character, including villains?
That doesn't surprise me.
She was a warrior. I bet it would have been hard to figure that. If you'd said, what Disney character has the highest kill count, I bet you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that would have gotten to Mulan. Because you would immediately think it's a villain.
Like Scar?
Yeah, possibly. Because didn't Scar get a bunch of hyenas in the end?
Yeah, it's been a
The
while.
hyenas turned on him. So if not in the first one, maybe in the follow-up ones. But yeah, Mulan.
Well, and he had, Scar killed Mufasa, too.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And that I didn't like Scar because of that, in case anybody was wondering. The weekend movie premieres. Mickey 17 is out today. That's Robert Pattinson, and I don't know any of the
Did
other
we miss the
people.
first 16?
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought, how did I not even hear about 1 through 16? It's kind of like preparations A through F. Like, I didn't know that there were preparations being made. In the Lost Lands, Mia Jovovich, Dave Bautista, I think I know those two names. That's an R-rated action fantasy. Night of the Zoopocalypse. And that's not anyone I know is in it. And no tomato meter.
What,
no
did
meter reading yet.
Did you, are you a little tired because you went out to the midnight showing of that one?
No, I'm just tired in general, I think. Yeah, after I got in yesterday, middle of the day, I decided you're going to have a 10-month-old until Monday morning. Recharge the energy stores.
Did you take a nap?
Since he's mobile, containment is much harder.
What's Gertie think of him?
She doesn't like him.
What does he think of Gertie?
Oh, he likes her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, but he likes everyone because, he's the center of attention. But
so I guess that's probably part of the reason why Gertie isn't as much of a fan is because the attention isn't on her then.
That's 100%. When he gets here, Gertie says, how long's he going to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a hierarchy. Here's a real pecking order between Alea, Gertie, and Brady. They all have very strong cases on who would be the center of attention at any particular time. And then speaking of Alea, Queen of the Ring is out today. It's a biography sport movie. It's multi-million-dollar female athlete at a time when the sport was banned. I suppose, professional wrestling. This movie is about professional wrestling. I don't know any of the. Oh, Josh Lucas is in it. I know him. So anyway, that's out this week. I am reading where Monty Python and the Holy Grail is returning to theaters for its 50th anniversary. There's so many good one-liners from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I've not been like the Monty Python franchise. I've never just been like all in on it. But there are a couple, especially Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's just hard not to like. Speaking of movies, Pierce Brosnan has addressed the potential James Bond return. He said, how could I not be interested? When I was a kid, James Bond, Sean Connery and Roger Moore seemed very old. But now that I'm my age and I look and I go, those guys really weren't all that old at the time. Pierce Brosnan is too old to play James Bond. James Bond is forever frozen as he's distinguished, but he's not. Just Pierce Brosnan, I think, is as aged out, I think. But maybe they'll figure out.
How old is he?
Pierce Brosnan has to be late 60s. If not, yeah, he's got to be
71. Yeah. He'll be 72 in May.
Yeah. So now I haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he still looks like he could, play James Bond. I don't know. I think the role needs to go to like a 55-year-old, something like that. That just seems to me to be
like you.
Character. No, I don't think I could play him, but I mean, I would drive an Aston Martin if they needed me to. I mean, I have no problem doing that. And then Dolly is speaking out after her husband Carl Dean's death earlier this week. I was saddened to hear about that. The world just loves Dolly. So anytime she has some type of hardship, the amount of people that call and text and write and reach out, etc. So she's just really grateful for that. So love note to family, friends, and fans. Thank you for all the messages, cards, and flowers that you've sent to pay your respects for the loss of Carl. So he's gone on in. They were married for 58 years. Talk about a guy that was able to lay low from the limelight with one of the most famous wives in the world. He was able to do it. Got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the week here on In the Know.
A friendship can change the world. Like the friendship between founding fathers John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. They were opposite in nearly every way, but they were united in mission. They saw themselves as Americans first and political opponents second. Their friendship emboldened them to stand shoulder to shoulder throughout the American Revolution. Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton also had an historic friendship. They were early opponents of slavery, and they fought for voting rights for women. Neither woman lived to see passage of the 19th Amendment in 1919, but it was their friendship that made it possible. When Elizabeth Stanton was asked how her friendship with Susan B. Anthony benefited their work, Stanton replied, "She forged the thunderbolts, and I fired them." That's what good friendships are all about. Friends disagree, but they work through their differences and battle together toward a common goal. They offer their strength when the other one is weak. They lean on each other for support when life gets difficult. Everybody needs a friend. We're all fighting some kind of battle and would benefit from someone wrapping an arm around us. And you can bet that your friends could use an arm around them. So reach out. Let people know how much they mean to you. Because if there ever was a time when we needed friendship, it's now. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Get on down.
MB's point to ponder for today. Delete one vegetable. Go. One vegetable, you can just remove it from the landscape.
I don't really like cauliflower that much.
I was afraid you were going to say tomato, which would then, basically eliminate ketchup. And so I was hoping it wouldn't be that drastic.
Yeah. Probably cauliflower, I guess, is the first one that comes to mind.
Just because it has no redeeming value to you whatsoever?
Yeah, I don't really like it.
Okay. While I was gone, I had broccolini. You ever had broccolini?
I think, don't they put that in a salad?
Maybe. It's broccoli it's the length of asparagus, but it looks like broccoli on the ends.
I think because broccoli is maybe my favorite.
Yeah, I like broccoli.
Cooked though. I don't like raw broccoli. I'm out on raw broccoli. Like in the vegetable tray or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm out. Okay, I may have had broccolini. So it's like asparagus kind of thing. Yeah.
It's the length of asparagus because it comes. The presentation is laid like asparagus, but then it's got the little bushy trees on the end. I go, well, hey.
Do they eat that in D.C.?
Yes, they do. It's a requirement. People from the District of Columbia.
Something tells me it's not coming from the top in D.C. right now.
No, it is not.
Did you have a Big Mac at least while you were there?
I did not. I did have 2 Diet Cokes because apparently you have to drink Diet Coke now. It's the way the winds are blowing.
Well, it looks like I'm not going to go to D.C. anytime soon.
I have a tie on what we're eliminating, and it is, believe it or not, it's the one I came to second. Is the one that probably I like the least. But I wrote down rhubarb.
I don't know that I've ever actually had it.
Rhubarb is a trick. Because my mama used to make rhubarb pie, and I would look at it and go, there's no way that belongs in a pie because it's green, and it's got this contrast in colors. It's like, you're trying to confuse me with the red, but then it's got this green, and no rhubarb, thank you. But then lima beans, without a doubt, lima beans should be eliminated from the landscape. You keep snickering or smiling about something.
No,
Is there
it's
something going on that I'm unaware of.
No, one of our crew members is in the band, and we were working out getting him scheduled for Saturday to make sure that the bells were okay with it. So I was messaging Ashley, and she sent back a message that was a typo, and I was very confused because she said, "I'm done with that." And I said, "Whoa, well, okay, well, we don't have to have him work." And she said, "No, I'm fine with that." I'm like, "Okay, you're fine." So she was just apologizing.
I'm down with that or I'm fine with that, but it came out I'm done with that.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I was just very like, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that to be a denial, so that's okay.
If you're a loser, you're going to be watching NCIS Sydney and Fire Country tonight. If you're a winner, you're going to be watching the Lady Cougars in the 3rd Region Tournament semifinals. What time?
5:40 will be coverage, and remember, if you don't want to pay the $7.99, there's no big deal on that. You can flip it on to 104.9 and listen that way, or download the K105 app. Listen. I know I saw somebody said that we had a message on, I think, tagged us in on our Instagram and said, "Rolling old school tonight." Listen it.
Okay.
I said, hey, there's nothing wrong with old school.
You can also Bluetooth that. If you download the app, you play it, and then you can play it on your ALEXA speaker or in your car or wherever, no matter where you are. That's the beauty of you. Even though we're regulated with the footprint of our RF signal, our stream can go anywhere in the world. If you got internet, I mean, you don't even have to have hardline. You can have Starlink on the other side of the earth and get us. By the way, we're not geo-fenced currently. If you live outside of the United States, you can still get us. I'm not so sure we shouldn't be geo-fenced, but we're not present.
Well, I mean, I know sometimes our Facebook video, the Russians don't want us to watch it.
That's true. I Am Raquel Welch is on the CW tomorrow night. Lady Gaga is host and musical guest on SNL tomorrow night. Gaga. I bet I'm not going to be able to stay up for that. I got a sneaking suspicion that will also be Sunday afternoon recorded. American Idol Season 23 premieres Sunday night, the $100,000 Pyramid and Tracker. Now, tomorrow night, all the winners are watching the Cougars play Meade County, and that will be late.
7:45. 7:45. So Davis Breck play the first game. So if you're looking to come, I mean, listen, that's that's a pretty decent doubleheader that you'll get to watch on Saturday. If you're wanting to go cheer on the Cougars, they had a great crowd, and even some faces that you don't usually see at games. We even got Todd Johnston out to the game.
So, by the way, yeah, because he didn't want to pay $7.99.
Probably.
He wanted to spend the gas money to get there. Plus, go out to eat. What? So you're talking about this could be it could line up and be a Breck County, Grayson County regional final?
That is, and yes, that is. And I mean, if you're wanting to say, I mean, Breck and Davis played earlier this season, and it was Breck that won, and Grayson and Meade played earlier this season, and it was Grayson that won. Now, does that mean anything on Saturday? No, of course not. Of course not.
It means absolutely
It means,
nothing.
yes, absolutely nothing. But still, it is something.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1965, a Bloody Sunday, the march over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. You had the big clash with the tear gas, so that happened this day. Alexander Graham Bell got his patent for the telephone this date in 1876. Birthdays today, Hall of Fame auto racer Janet Guthrie is 87. She was the first woman to race in the Indy 500. Daniel J. Travanti is 85 today. Michael Eisner is 83. Bryan Cranston is 69.
Walter
My favorite
White.
Bryan Cranston role is Tim Watley, but he's probably most famous for Walter White. Taylor Dane is 63. E.L. James is 62. She's going to have 50 shades of birthday cake. Wanda Sykes is 61, and Amanda Gorman is 27 today. Gone but not forgotten, Willard Scott. Do you know who Willard Scott is?
That name sounds familiar.
He was Al Roker before Al Roker.
Okay, no.
Like, he was the legendary news weather person on the Today Show, and he always did his happy birthday shout-outs to people who were turning 100, and it was courtesy of Smuckers. Willard Scott was born this date in 1934, and Tammy Faye Baker was born this date in 1942.
He was also the original Ronald McDonald?
Yes, he was. That's right. Chart toppers. Bobby Rydell, number 1, in 60. KSR people are gone in about 25 seconds, so don't forget, watch the Cougars live, listen to the Cougars, go to the game in person on that neutral floor down there in Owensboro. Let's see, what's number 1 in 1969? CCR number 1 with Proud Mary.
As I don't think he would mind me sharing his line, but I'll just say that it wasn't me that said it, but it was an administrator that sent me a message and said the only thing neutral about about Owensboro Catholic there is their cars on the way home. And I thought that was a good line. As they roll back down the hill, getting back to school.
Yeah, just kick it in neutral and save the gas. Waylon and Willie, number 1 this date in 78. Let them be doctors and lawyers and such. Let's go to 1987. Huey Lewis in the News, number 1 with Jacob's Ladder. Tony Rich Project, Nobody Knows, number 1 in 96. Rich Girl Gwen Stefani in 05. Dark Horse Katy Perry in 2014. And 2 years ago today, Miley Cyrus and Flowers was number 1. Go Lady Cougars, go Cougars. Hopefully we're talking about a big weekend in sports coming up on Monday. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, happiness is a gift, and the trick is not to expect it, but to delight in it when it comes. Happiness is a gift, and the trick is not to expect it, but to delight in it when it comes. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WKHG Litchfield, the Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105.